In this lesson, I want you to hang on to one simple idea. The biggest fight in a cost segregation study are hiding in the wiring, the ducts, and the pipes. If you are a tax pro, an engineer, or an advanced investor, you already know the cabinet and cabinets are the easy parts. The real tension lives in the electrical, the HVAC, and the plumbing. That's where the dollar amount get big. That's where the classification can quietly drip from reasonable into aggressive. And that's exactly what an IRS agent is going to poke first if this report ever gets pulled. The good news is the IRS has actually told us a lot about how they think about the system. The cost segregation audit technique guys have whole sections where they spell out examples for electrical distribution, restaurant kitchens, residential rental, and more. So in this video, I want to do 3 things. First, show you how the guy draws the line between building-wide system and dedicated or special purpose system. Second, walk through very specific example the guy used, especially for electrical and plumbing, so you can hear what good and too aggressive sound like in their word. Third, give you a practical checklist so that when you read a report, you immediately know where the audit risk really lives. By the end, you will be able to look at a cost seg report and say, I know exactly where the soft spots are in the electrical, HVAC, and plumbing, instead of pretending every line item is equally defendable. Let's start with the big picture, the way the IRS frames it. In the audit technique guide, they break assets into buckets: information system and building system like mechanicals, electrical, and plumbing, process system like process piping, and then the usual real property categories. The tension lives in that gap between building system and process or equipment serving systems. The building system is what you need to have a usable building, like power, lights, heating, cooling, water, and waste, or for normal occupancy. Think panels that feed all the floor, HVAC that condition the general spaces, the plumbing that serve restroom and standard sinks. A process or equipment serving system exists because of what you are doing inside the building. It's there for the kitchen line, for servers, the lab, the medical gas, and manufacturing equipment. And the guy calls out a very common audit issue: taxpayer carving pieces of the building system over into 1245 personal property without enough support. They even gives a concrete electrical example. In one scenario they describe is a study that cherry-picked specific electrical components, say a plug outlet, a brand circuit, or a switch, and label it all as 7-year personal property simply because it's in a production or equipment area. If that outlet could just be easily be used for a vacuum cleaner, a copier, or any general piece of equipment, the service will treat it as part of the general electrical system of the building. In their view, that make it 1250 building property, not 1245. They also talk about studies that grab a fixed percentage of that primary feeder that happen to run past the machine and call that proportion 7-year property. The guy flat out say, if you are going to allocate part of a feeder or equipment, that allocation should be supported by a usage or load study, some real engineering work that show X percentage of this feeder capacity is actually feeding a 1245 equipment. A rule of thumb percentage with no analysis is exactly the kind of thing an examiner is told to challenge. So even before we get into any industry specifics, you can already hear the pattern. If something looks like part of the overall building system, it start life at 27.5 or 39 years property. If you want to break up a piece and call it short life, you would better be able to tell a clear story about exactly what that piece serves, and ideally back it up with drawings, photo, and load up user data. Now let's make this real with industry example the guys give, starting with restaurants, because that's where electrical, HVAC, and plumbing really come alive. In the restaurant chapter, there's a whole table of breaking out assets, and there are very telling category called kitchen equipment hookups. What does that mean? That category covers things like separate water lines from the incoming main to the steam tables, eye machines, or cooking vessels, gas lines from the main gas line to fryers or ovens, special drain lines that go from dishwasher or cooler directly into the drain, ventilation or makeup air unit that exists solely to meet the ventilation needs of the kitchen equipment, and the exhaust hood over the cooking line. Those items are treated at 1245 property with a 5-year recovery period for restaurant use. The reasoning is simple. Those lines, hood, and vent don't exist just to have a building. They exist because you decide to run a commercial kitchen in that space. Right next to that, the same table have a very different category called electrical, HVAC, and plumbing for the building. So that bucket includes the normal building plumbing system, the restroom fixtures, the kitchen hand sinks, and sprinkler main and heads, the domestic hot water for the space, the general gas service bringing fuel into the system. Those components are classified as 1250 buildings, or building components with a 39 years life. In other words, the guy is telling you a water line into a wall-hung sink in the kitchen is part of the building plumbing system. A special line that only exists to feed a specific kind of kitchen equipment can be treated as short life in a restaurant setting. They do the same thing for electrical. Dedicated outlets and conduit that run all the way back to the panel, installed to power a specific appliance line or a specific piece of kitchen equipment, are categorized on the short life side. But the general purpose outlets in the kitchen or dining area, the one anybody can plug in for any use, stay on the building side. So for restaurants, you get a very clear blueprint. Dedicated hookup and equipment servicing system are 5 years, 1245. General lighting, general power, general plumbing, and life safety system are 39 year or 1250. Now contrast that with the residential rental property, because the guy shifted the boundary there. In the residential rental table, you will see like kitchen, electrical, dedicated range call out. They treat dedicated wiring and outlet for the range, dishwasher, refrigerator, and built-in microwave as a 1245 with a 5-year recovery period. Again, the logic is there are specific high-load branches that put to serve major appliances. But when you look at the kitchen plumbing for residential rentals, the story changed, right? So the piping, the drains, faucet, garbage disposal, and waste piping for a standard residential kitchen, that whole plumbing run is categorized as 1250 residential rental building. So it's 27 and a half years. So in other words, in apartments, you don't get to carve out most of the kitchen plumbing as 5 years just because it touches an appliance. It's part of the building system. So it's really industry specific, right? So you can see there's a whole lot of information that is industry specific. So like you see in the kitchen, in the restaurant, it's treated differently. In residential, it's treated differently. Even in the lighting category, the guy draw lines. So exterior light that functions as parking or lot lighting, walkway illumination, or security lighting is treated as part of the operating and maintaining the building. So it stays in the 27.5 or 39-year property. But poorly decorative exterior lighting that just highlight landscaping or the building facade with no safety or circulation function is treated as personal property with a 5-year life. Same technology, same bulbs, completely different classification because the function is different. All of these details give you a working test you can use when you read the report. Is this component in the building because it's normally a normal user need a basic, safe, or workable building? Or is it in the building because of a specific trade, like restaurant, a process, or a piece of equipment? Now let's bring HVAC into the picture, because the guy doesn't always separate HVAC out with big labels, but the pattern is the same. If you have rooftop unit, boiler, or a split system that heat and cool the building as a whole, the offices, the corridor, the restrooms, those are part of the building mechanical system. So what does that mean? That means 27.5 or 39 years. That means section 1250. But if you have specialized cooling or ventilation that exists only for a specific function, like CRAC unit, or a data center, or a dedicated makeup air unit, an exhaust for a heavy kitchen line, or a special exhaust system for a lab hood, those pieces can often be supported at 1245, which means short-lived property, as long as the documentation actually tied up to that use. The guy even nudges examiners to pay attention to the wording. If a study simply say special HVAC 5 year without explaining what it serves, that's a problem. If it says in essence, the unit exclusively serve as the data center and the drawing and photo back that up, that's a much stronger position, even in audit. So let's turn this into a practical review checklist, but this time grounded in the basic patterns you just heard in the guide. When you see large electrical allocation to 1245, and ask yourself, are these clearly dedicated circuits and hookup, like the kitchen equipment hookup and the restaurant table, or they are generally purpose outlet and brand circuits the IS had already said that should stay with the building? When you see part of the main electrical distribution, the feeder, busway, switchgear, move into 5-7 year property, then you want to ask, did the provider do any kind of load or usage study, like the guy suggests? Is there any engineering analysis, or did they just cut off a flat percentage? For plumbing in a restaurant, you expect to see short life or appliance hookup, dedicated drain and equipment, and special kitchen hot water if it's only feed equipment. You do not expect to see any kitchen plumbing or restroom plumbing or any sprinkler suddenly reclassified as 5 year. In a restaurant rental, you should see 5 year property for certain dedicated electrical branches to major appliances, but you should not see the entire kitchen plumbing system jump into a 5 year just because it touches a dishwasher. The guide is explicit in treating that as building plumbing. For HVAC, you should be able to point to the part of the system that is truly processing, serving like data center cooling or lab exhaust or kitchen makeup air, and separate that logically from the part that keep the rest of the building comfortable. And in every case, ask yourself a very simple audit 3 years from now question. If the agent pull up the guide off their shelf, flip to the restaurant or residential tablet table, and then look at this classification, am I comfortable explaining why we went beyond those patterns? Or would I feel like we pushed past the example without enough support? If the honest answer is, I would rather not have that conversation, that's your cue to either dial the position back or demand better documentation from the study provider now, while you still have leverage. On the flip side, understand these details also keeps you from being too conservative and leaving money on the table. If you see a Russian study that leaves all kitchen hookups, exhausts, and dedicated circuits on a 39-year property, you now know the IS own guide is more generous than that. Same with residential rentals that never break out dedicated kitchen brand circuits for major appliances. There are an opportunity hiding there. So So to pull all of this together, the cost segregation audit technique guide doesn't just talk in vague generality. It gives you very specific patterns for electrical, HVAC, and plumbing by asset type and by industry. So building-wide system, so general lighting, general distribution, general plumbing, normal HVAC, live in the 27.5 or 39-year land. Dedicated or special purpose system like kitchen hookup, data center cooling, lab exhaust, certain appliance branches can legitimately move into the 5, 7, and 15-year buckets when the facts and documentation line up. And the IRS is very clear that they care both about the function and the quality and of the support behind any allocation you make. If you are a tax pro, your job is to use this guide as a reality check. Does this report look and feel like the example the IRS Excel gives, or have the provider stretched out beyond that without evidence? If you are an investor or an engineer, your job is to design the document system in a way that makes the distinction obvious, so you are not paying someone later to recreate it from half-remembered plans. In the next advanced lesson, we will zoom out from these specific systems and look at the overall quality for a cost seg report, how methodology, documentation, and risks all fit together, so you can decide which providers you trust enough to build real long-term planning around their studies.